Well, Nagy, it's all sorted, mate. I am booked. My tickets are sorted. Bags are packed. I'm ready, mate. I'm ready to go.
Where are you off to?
I'm going to Hawaii.
Hawaii? That sounds all right.
Yeah, it'll be unreal, mate. A cocktail in one hand, ukulele in the other, get some sun, maybe get some waves. I can't wait, mate.
When's all this happening?
January 4th.
January 4th, so next year.
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
Next year.
I've got to say, I'm off for the Olympics.
You're going to the Olympics. Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
2020 Olympics.
Next year, eh?
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah, can't wait for
next year. Should be some good things happening.
Next year.
It's been a real year, this one. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Joust. My name is Nagy. I'm here as always with my co-host Liam McNeil. Liam, how are you tonight?
Nagy, I'm well, thank you. I'm very well, but you seem a bit worse for wear, Nagy. How are you today?
Not the best week. Not the best week. You see, I'm such an avid Knights supporter that I like to emulate them off the field. And I've had a bit of an upsetting week this week. I had some issues with my car, the thing that I use to get around, and then I had an issue with my back. Also a thing I use to get around.
So you could say, much like the Knights, you're having trouble with your spine.
Yes, I'm having spine troubles, and but actual spine troubles. But luckily, I'm seeing is Chinese monsieur.
Masseuse.
No, it's
a masseur is a woman. Isn't a masseuse a man?
No, the other way around.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he's
I have to apologise to my masseur then.
His name's Martin, and did some acupuncture today.
Oh, nice.
I didn't do it. I let him do it because I couldn't really.
Couldn't reach your own back.
I couldn't see what was going on back there. He told me he did acupuncture. Maybe he didn't.
But how would you know?
I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
But I've taken his word for it, and I'm feeling slightly better. Thank you, Martin. But Liam, for things that aren't feeling slightly better.
I was hoping we wouldn't have to get to this, Nagy. I was really not looking forward to this chat.
Well, we got to it quite quickly, Liam. Now, the game of the weekend. Now, it wasn't all doom and gloom. Well, it was both those things.
It was both doom and gloom, Nagy. I don't know what you're talking about.
But, you know, we'll start with the scoreline. 30-6, not the outcome that we wanted.
No.
Quite far from the outcome that we wanted to achieve. I said at the beginning of the game, look, Manly's going to be the kind of team that we're facing in the finals if we make it there, having to win this game, and we didn't really rise to the occasion.
We started strongly again, though. Same as last week, same as every week. The Knights started very strongly, but it all capitulated and went to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a common theme is capitulation and losing game after game after game in succession. But where did it all go wrong for you, Liam?
Where it all went wrong was kind of in the attacking 20. Every time the Knights got into the attacking 20, which they spent plenty of time in there in the first half, they just couldn't convert it into points. Couldn't even convert it into pressure. No repeat sets. Were consistently giving the ball back on the last tackle or making errors. There was just no way to apply pressure, and you can't score points if you can't get the pressure on.
We've been blaming the ref a lot. And we haven't been getting the rub of the green, but we got the rub of the green in that first half. Multiple sets. I think 24 tackles inside the opposition 20, something like that. It was high. And we, as you said, we couldn't make any tries out of it. A bit of Ponga brilliance with our first and only try. And then you could argue that possibly that we had two more, by the hands of Sean Kenny-Dow.
That's it. They were two close tries. That beautiful pass from Kalen Ponga and the kick from Mason Lino, which Skidsy just couldn't take. Seems like he was having a rocks day, but it was like we were talking about earlier. You know, he was in that very shady corner where you get that switch from the sunlight to the shade, and you manage to lose the ball in there, in between the sunlight and the shade. So I think SKD can be forgiven for putting those down. But it just seems like they were our opportunities to score points, and they went wanting. Yeah,
they were tricky, and but again, you know, if you think if we could have applied a little bit more pressure, we could have had a few more opportunities. But they were the opportunities we were given, and but as it went from day into night, as the ball passed into the shadow, much like our season, pulled further away from the finals contention.
These are the days of our lives.
Now, Liam, I've never been one for mathematics, but we're still a mathematical chance.
We're still a mathematical chance, but you never want to be a mathematical chance. Look, that's not ideal, being a mathematical chance. You want to be keeping your finals hopes in your own hands. You want to be able to do it on your own back without relying on other teams to win or lose as necessary. But that's where we stand now, and so we need the football gods on our side. And look,
and the other gods as well.
And the other gods as well.
Gods,
the ancient Greek gods, perhaps, the ancient Roman gods, you name them. We'll need them all on our side. But it just, it seems like
Surely, we
Are we allowed to say that? Can we say that?
Can we say Muhammad?
Can we say Muhammad?
We'll check with.
All right. We've checked with our producers. Thank you, Karen, for checking up on that. But we're allowed to say Muhammad.
So all of the guys, if we can get them on side, and as well as the referees, and as well as anything else, we just need everything to go.
The opposition team. If we can get the opposition teams on our side, that'd be great.
Has anyone thought about using a bit of this salary cap money we keep talking about and just giving it to some of the opposition teams? Surely there's teams out there that aren't going to make the finals anyway, and they would accept a few bribes.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. No, I can see that. I think, I think you're onto something, Nagy.
Have we exhausted all options until we started trying to bribe the other teams?
I don't think we have exhausted all these options yet, but I'm sure we'll get there very soon. Within another week or one more loss, we'll do anything.
Who was
Peptides, salary cap cheating, bribing, anything.
Who was the standouts for you, Liam, of the night side?
Oh, very few. David Clemmer. Obviously, David Clemmer ran for 214 metres, 71 metres post-contact, but he was about the only bright spark in that side. The rest of the forward pack didn't really go with him. Yeah. Kalen Ponga offered a bit at the back, but that was about it, especially for the backs. Heimel Hunt was okay, but yeah.
There was lots of okays.
Lots of okays.
Yeah, there was a couple of standouts, obviously. Kalen with his moments of brilliance. Connor Watson out of dummy half in the second half.
He had another good game at hooker, I thought. Another very good game at hooker, but more to come on Connor Watson in the news and his role at 9.
I was really thinking Dan Safidi was matching David Clemmer's efforts, and then I remembered that Jacob Safidi was also playing, and I literally got them confused out there. I thought that they were the one person. But they are genetically identical.
Genetically the same person, so you weren't too far off.
I think they can forgive me out there. Sorry, boys. So between them, they had a really solid game.
Between the two, they had a great game.
Good to see Jacob coming back and playing some football. And yeah, I thought Dan also, early, he had some good runs early. But I don't know. I always think that with props get sometimes stuck in this. Do they play like a really energetic, I'm a bit of a back, I'm putting on a bit of footwork and running a bit wider, or do they stick to hard runs in the middle? And I always think there's two prop mindsets, and I think Jay Gavay gets a bit sort of victim of this as well. Sometimes he runs out there and thinks, I could do a bit of stepping, I could do a bit of flick passing, and then he's quickly reminded that's not what you're paid to do. And there's been the few games where he's run really straight and hard, and we've seen some really good things from him. I think Dan Safidi, he found some space early on, hitting some good unders lines and a bit of footwork close to the line, and I think he went away from him. He's up the middle. I'm actually a 6'6" giant. Yeah. But you look at the effort that Clemmer put in is really, it's great to see, but at the same time you feel bad for him because you feel like all that was for a 30-6 loss.
Well, that's it, and he's done it every week. Every loss the Knights have had, he's been arguably the best in the team, and you just think someone's got to go with him on this. He can't just keep doing it by himself every week in that forward pack. Someone has got to go with him. A few other players have really got to step up and make sure Clem's not the only one kind of taking this game, this comp by the scruff of its neck.
With the players that we have out there, Liam, who do you see stepping up to this game against Parramatta to really, to get over Parramatta and take it to another level?
I think it's got to be Mitchell Pearce. He's had a quiet few weeks, obviously, which has coincided with this losing run, because when we were on that winning run, the 6 in a row, Mitchell Pearce took out 5 or 6 man of the matches in a row. Yeah. So when Mitchell Pearce is playing well, the Knights are playing well. So I think Mitchell Pearce really needs to stand up. He's had a few quiet weeks, but I think if he can really control the game, his kicking game wasn't great against the Seagulls. He put a lot of kicks out, giving the Seagulls 7 tackle sets. There was a few ineffective bombs. Look, I think if Mitchell Pearce steps up, the Knights will step up.
I think you're right, and I think there's certain players out there that I think run really well off Mitchell Pearce. I think Mitchell Pearce runs really instinctually at the line, and it sort of makes a few decisions in the one play. Like he'll have the ball in his hand, he'll think, do a rubber, do a pass, no. And then there's sometimes where he gets caught with the ball and he decides to run it because there's not a player there ready. One of the players that has always been there ready for him this season is Tim Glasby. I think Glasby stays right off his shoulder and is just good for a good settling run, so Pearce can swim back around and set something up. But I think at the moment we've seen him on the fourth a couple of times make those decisions, then just sort of duck his head and go. And that's not where his running game comes out. He's an excellent support runner, and he puts himself in good positions when we all have the momentum. But I don't feel like we had that at all against Manly.
No, absolutely not.
One positive thing coming up against Parramatta this Saturday is not only was it the game to turn our last losing streak around, to start our winning streak was against Parramatta at the beginning of the season, but that was the first game we saw Mitchell Pearce this season really have a solid game. And he did this also when he came back from injury. His first game back, might have been his second game back, and scores that try under the post at home, again against Parramatta. So maybe it's a Parramatta thing. I've always thought there's certain players play really well against certain teams. A lot of those players playing for other teams play well against the Knights.
Everyone plays well against the Knights.
So it's so possibly we might see a bit of a lift from Mitchell Pearce when it all counts. But gee, we're putting a lot of beans into a lot of cups. Don't know what that means, but it's all into this cup.
Bean Cup.
Bean cup.
We're bean cupping.
Bean cup round. Yeah.
But look, I think it really showed what a controlling half can do. DCE was running that Seagulls team around with a finessed hand. He had a perfect touch. I think he had a hand in 4 of their 5 tries, led them around beautifully. And isn't it, I'll tell you one thing that I've been really amazed about is the turnaround in Manly between last year and this year.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people were tipping them to be in and around the wooden spoon contention, but Des Hasler's got them up into the top 5 with essentially the same roster he had, the same roster Trent Barrett had last year.
But without Trent Barrett's outdoor furniture in
Yeah,
his office.
that's
So
it.
maybe
There's
that
more
was-
room in the office.
Maybe that's what was holding him back, was the very own furniture.
But yeah, look, the Eels are coming off the back of a win against St. George. It was a pretty good win too. They played all right, but St. George are not much chop. They've won 4 of their last 5 though. Mitchell Moses is going to be a real danger man for them. He's currently leading the NRL for try assists with 20, and he's a bit of a flat track bully as well. So yeah, he tends to play well against teams outside the 8
And we're
who
playing
aren't running well.
at Bankwest Stadium.
And playing at Bank West, which they're quickly turning into a bit of a fortress. So
They are, yeah.
it's going to be a tough one. I just don't know if I see enough spark in the Knights team at the moment to see them beat Parramatta at Bank West.
The question is, if we do beat Parramatta at Bankwest, it's going to be like, where was this for the last 5 weeks?
Exactly.
The teams remained reasonably the same, minus Edric Lee. And it's sort of like, why? Why can't we just get it all together? Why can't all the cogs turn all the wheels?
Yeah.
I
It's a
don't know.
damn shame.
I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to take a halftime break and we'll be right back. And we're going to open the sack, answer all your questions, as well as see what's in the news.
See what's in the news.
What do you got there, Nagy?
It's a nice little bottle of bubbles.
That's not very manly.
Manly.
Manly?
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 Manly.
Next
year.
Not the venereal disease. Now, Liam.
Now, Nagy.
Welcome back to the second half of the Joust. Now, there's been a lot happening in the news, Liam. And the biggest thing that happened, I said just moments ago that we pretty much had the same team minus Edric Lee, but there is another player. that
There's
is no
another
longer
player.
with us. What happened through the week, Liam?
Well, what happened through the week, obviously, as we probably all know by now, but we're here to discuss it, so you'll listen to it. Jessie Ramien has been cut from the team, effective immediately. He's now allowed to negotiate with rival clubs for next year, but he won't be featuring for the Knights again. Now,
Thoughts
I
on
didn't see this coming at all. I know he wasn't showing the form that he kind of promised showing at the Sharks. He was kind of lauded by a few armchair critics as being a bit overweight slightly, not kind of dedicating himself to the game, not playing up to his potential. But I didn't see this coming. I didn't see the complete and utter tearing apart of the relationship coming at all.
Now, something happens behind closed doors of clubs, Liam, and we will never find out. We can only speculate and sort of point our fingers and make our judgments. So this has happened this time because I'm very sceptical about the whole Jessie Ramien saga. There is something that doesn't smell right, doesn't sit right, and I don't think it was just a calm falling out with the coach on the training paddock. There must be something that's just not been revealed to
There's
us.
forces at work here, Nagy. Powerful, strong forces that we can never understand. The forces of rugby league.
If we look at it, I think there was two big things. One, we've only just passed June 30. June 30 was just in the rear view. And we didn't choose to offload him then and maybe get some salary cap relief, get another player in or anything like that. So everything was working up until June 30. I believe there was even talks about upgrading his contract in and around that
There
time.
was talks of upgrading his contract in and around that time, Nagy.
So what happened between then and now?
I wish I could tell you,
It's
and
a
I wish
month.
we knew.
It's a month. It's
been a
Something's
month.
happening. And he had that good game against the Broncos where he knocked Darius Boyd into next week. So
Which we're all very thankful for,
Thank you
Jesse. Thank you very
Ramien.
much.
Yeah, it was very nice of you to do that. Now, but something has happened there. We're never going to find out. We can only speculate. There's been talks of he did this and he said this, and then his dad was shopping him around. But players are shopped around all the time. And I don't believe that's why he got given the ask. And the other thing was that it was the first press conference that I saw Nathan Brown, our very own coach, just didn't look comfortable. And
He didn't, did he? He looked like there was a lot going on that he was unhappy with.
He usually the journalists are like putty in his hands. He sort of wheels them in like a big fish. He just sort of wheels them in, then lets them go again and says, "Oh no! I've got you on that line. You come back here." But this time he refused to answer questions regarding Jessie Ramien, saying that he thinks he's answered them at the first press conference regarding the situation, which I thought was an interesting move by Nathan, saying that he thought it was covered by the club statement, which I don't think it was much.
No, I don't think it was. I think a lot of us fans have been left in the dark regarding this particular decision. I think we'll be left in the dark well into the future. I don't think we're going to hear the insides of this until, someone speaks in a tell-all book or a tell-all interview, but that'll be way down the track.
Yeah.
So, I think this is just going to be one of those rugby league mysteries. Why didn't it work? Where did it go wrong? No one will know. And there'll forever be hearsay and what's another word for hearsay? Conjecture.
Maybe he was a nudist. Putting it out there. We haven't explored that option, and maybe...
But surely that's not grounds to terminate a professional rugby league contract.
I don't know.
I mean, as long as he's doing it at a nude-sanctioned area.
That's probably...
Like if he's doing it on his off time and he's doing it at an area where he's allowed to do it, say a beach.
Maybe
or,
I'll let this play out for you. Where the boys have just finished a training session.
Okay.
Hit the showers, right? Where's Jessie? Still in the showers. Comes out. Oh, what you've forgotten your bag again, Jessie? You're in a public area, mate. This has to end. Pack your bags. But firstly, get your bags full of the clothes.
Actually, that's funny you mentioned that because one of the rumours I did hear, and I thought it was a very funny rugby league rumour, was that he was seen after games driving straight home in his playing kit. He wouldn't shower with the group.
No, he
So it
prefers
could
to
be
shower
quite the opposite.
with the other nudists.
With the other nudists. So you think he might be going home to his...
Look, I'm just putting it out there.
Would you call it a colony of nudists?
I think it is a
So
colony
you think
of
he's
nudists.
going back to his colony, then showering, as opposed to showering after the game?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
All right. Look
So-
out, Channel 9's The Mole. We've got you beaten. We've got the inside scoop here.
What else is making news, Liam?
Next piece of the news is a good piece of signing for the Knights. Jaden Brayley's signature has been announced. He'll be playing for the Knights for the next 3 seasons starting next year. I guess that answers our question about the long-term number 9 jersey at the Knights. It's going to be Jaden Brayley.
Jaden Brayley. So
Yep.
we can cross the lines through Slade Griffin. Probably
Yep.
not going to be re-signed now.
Nope.
Probably coming back soon as well.
Surely he'd be due back soon. He'd have to be due back very soon.
He'd have a full mechanical knee by now.
Yeah.
It'd work via remote. But, that obviously not Danny Levi. Danny Levi, we could say that is an alliance for him as well and not selected in the last game. So, welcome, Jaden. Another nice prospect from the
Sharks.
From the Sharks, much
Yeah.
like the nudist Jessie Ramien.
Next item in the news, Connor Watson has been nominated for the Ken Stephen Medal, recognising community work. I say well done to Connor. This award's given every year to an NRL player in recognition of their work in the community, and obviously Connor's been doing a lot of it. So well done to Connor Watson.
Very well done. There's a lot of stuff that the Knights players do that is not shown, on the playing paddock. And that brings me to a point, Liam. I've got a little bee in my bonnet around certain people on...
Bee in your bonnet?
Yeah, I know. Get it out of there. That's probably why my car's broken down. There's too many bees in my bonnet.
Bee under the bonnet.
Yeah. But it was a little bit of concern about when there's any sort of... We're in a social media age, Liam. There's cameras everywhere.
Everyone's a citizen journalist.
Citizen journalism is a big problem. But there's, people post things, Instagram shots, Snapchat, I believe, is something that
That's a popular app.
And sometimes these ads filter back into Facebook of some funny, humorous times of happened between two fellas.
So you're saying a couple of boys, couple of fellas, just
Yeah.
having a good time, maybe roughhousing around a bit.
Yeah.
Just having a good time, having fun.
What do you think the first thing is said in the comments around these joyful moments?
I think I've got an idea, Nagy. No wonder you're losing.
Yes, no wonder you're losing. Should have
Yeah.
spent more time out in the paddock. They should be training. They should be in the gym. Anything like that. Should be doing more ball work.
There was that great example from the other day of Connor Watson and Kalen Ponga. Just a couple of fellas, couple of young boys, having a bit of fun with some plastic swords at Toys R Us. What was the first comment? No wonder you didn't beat the Roosters.
Yes.
Now
Now,
I
why
don't
didn't
know
you bring
what
the Premier side in the competition because you were playing with some swords, much like
at Toys R Us. of
in
all
Toys
places.
R Us, and as well they were playing because they were being knights.
Oh, I didn't make the connection. They were being knights.
They were
Yeah, I get it now.
Spruiking the club.
They were, if anything, they were doing the club's work for them.
And the hard-working marketing team over there. Sorry, Dean. There's and the Knights are out there, playing with, and it was a fun, joyful moment. Can I just say, if this, I'm almost taking this personally, Liam, but I might do it. All of you fellas out there, and all of you misses as well, all have jobs. And if you were, let's say in your off time, let's say you're under a bit of a performance review, and then your boss has a bit of a harsh word to say about you, and then that night sees you out to dinner with some friends. Do you think he thinks, oh, if only you were spending a little bit more time on those spreadsheets, we wouldn't have to come down so hard on you? No, there is off time, and then there's work time. And that goes the same as these players. And I don't think if anyone's failing any fitness tests or seen, falling out of a cab absolutely hammer-pissed, there is any reason to say that they should be doing more work in their off time.
So you're saying that they need to make sure their work-life balance is okay? Their
And we'll do that with our hands.
work-life balance. Yeah.
Is better. Yeah.
So what you're essentially telling me is that they're okay to have a bit of a fun time.
Let the boys play.
As long as it doesn't carry over into their training and or game time.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, understandably. Let the boys play. Let the boys have a good time. Next piece in the news, the Roosters have agreed to a deal which will see them take 3 games to Perth over the next 3 years, on top of the Bulldogs, who have also committed to the same. So it's a big time for rugby league in Western Australia.
Sorry,
Nagy.
what's this? Our boys?
No, the Roosters.
Oh, the Roosters. Sorry,
Yeah,
I thought the Knights were going to take
No,
this.
that was all the Knights news for the week, so I had to kind of dredge up the bottom of the barrel for the news.
That's all right. So the Roosters going to Perth.
The Roosters are going to Perth.
Good riddance. So can we take them any further west? Maybe a few games in South Africa?
South Africa, the Cape of Good Horn.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
Maybe even further west. What's further than that? New Zealand.
Further west than that, and you end up going back around.
the way.
New Zealand.
Oh, we're taking them to New Zealand.
Take him to New Zealand.
Good
All
riddance.
right. And Justin Holbrook has been announced as Gold Coast Titans coach. Obviously, they lost our resumes in the mail.
Yes.
But Justin Holbrook's been appointed, and I think he's been given a couple of years to do some good up there and make some changes. But it's the Titans. How do you fix that?
Good luck, Justin. The clock's ticking, and we bid you farewell. Good luck in the Super League.
That's all for the news this week, Nagy.
Time to open that sack of yours, Liam.
Alrighty. Now, it was a late sack this week, Joust. That's my fault. My apologies. But
Refer to it as a thin sack.
it's a very thin sack this week. Now, I've noticed a particular theme from the questions this week, so I'm going to sum up the first 3 questions from Daniel Snedden, Daniel Turner, and Daniel Richmond. I'm going to combine them into kind of
Can you
one.
say those 3 names again?
Daniel
Turner.
Snedden, Daniel Turner, and Daniel Richmond. So it was very easy to combine all your Daniel's questions, but they actually flow really well together, and I think can get us on a decent train of thought. Now, those questions are: what needs to change? Where do we go from here? And why are we so shit?
All the Daniels are thinking in the same sort of mindset.
That's
which
it.
is
They were all in the
interesting.
same. Were you guys in the same room, Daniels? I don't know. Let us know. Any of you Daniels out there, let us know if you guys were workshopping this or if it was completely accidental.
I tell you a name that I've never really liked. Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
Yeah.
I've known a few Nathaniels, and they're always troublemakers.
Nathan or Daniel, pick one. That's all I'm saying. Because the combination does not sound nice
about
to the ears.
Nathan.
Nathan is even better than
That's-
Nathaniel.
yeah.
Nathaniel's like you've given up. Nathaniel. Like it's just anyway. Sorry.
But we answer the
Sorry.
questions.
Oh, yeah.
What needs to change?
Yeah.
What needs to change? I think the attitudes of the players need to change. I think they need
I
to
don't
be
buy
much
attitude-
more steely.
No, I don't.
You don't buy
I
it?
don't buy any attitude changes. I don't see like when there's 5 losses in a row and probably 3 of those games you could have won or 2. Why didn't we win them? And attitude's just not enough. I don't feel like there's that you can just rock up with a better attitude and all play together over 80 minutes. I know there's other factors, and when you're playing well, you're playing well. It's a big game of momentum, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Liam?
Look, I think I've got to agree with you somewhat there, but look, I don't know what needs to change, but I think
Where are we lacking? Where position-wise are we lacking?
we're lacking another big winger.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Edric out, we're really missing out on his hard carries and his excellent work out on the fringes there.
Yeah.
And I think we're missing another impactful second rower. I know Sione's kind of doing his best, but I think he's lacking the impact that we kind of need, which
Yeah.
I know the Knights are talking about maybe going after Kurt Capewell, who'll offer some good impact in the second row. But yeah, I think out on the wing there and in that second row spot, we really need to bolster some depth there. Where do we go from here?
It's an interesting thing. Like, and if we just look at a new roster, and does a new coach come with a new roster? You know, do we need a new coach to attract a new roster? Do we just need a new roster and we keep the same coach so we don't have a complete? So the problem is that if we get a new coach in, they get 2 years. It doesn't matter if they've been signed for 4 years. They really have 2 years before everyone turns on them. And if we flip that, they just end up picking a whole new side, and that looks away from all big player like investments. So you could say Pierce, Ponga, Clemmer is our big investments at the moment. But you might get a new coach to say Pierce is the problem. He's out, and it's not just a clean swap. You suck $1 million out of the salary cap for a year, and then you put in someone else. That someone might, if you say, all right, Michael Maguire, come over here, they might say, oh, we really think Luke Brooks is the way to go.
Yeah.
Get rid of Pierce because we can't have two guys steering the ship. It's just it doesn't work when you get the only way to not have that is if you get an underperforming coach come in like Nathan Holbrook, may he rest in peace.
Justin Holbrook.
And his brother Nathan and his other brother Nathaniel. So all the Holbrooks once they come in, it's just if you get a low line coach and then you lack culture. You get a really dominant coach and then they have too much control. I think a Nathan Brown's a perfect in the middle person, and I don't want to see him sacked. Because we're gonna end up we're gonna rebuild again.
That's it. You got to go through the rebuild again. So what do you change? Obviously, don't change too much at the moment, but something's got to change. I just don't know what it is.
We're 1 week away from talking about culture.
Yeah.
And talking about how the club's in.
That's it. One more loss, and all the media pundits are going to pull out that it's a party city again. That it's a party team. It's a team who likes going out, having a good time. Again, discussing that work-life balance.
Yes.
And the last part of the question, why are we so shit? Daniel, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I really do. But it just seems to be the Knights' way. Ever since 2001, we've had mostly shit years. We've had 1 or 2 good years in between, but they've been mostly terrible.
02 was really nice.
02 was great,
yeah.
But that's 17 years ago now.
Yeah.
13, what was the year we made the preliminary? 13?
Yeah.
That was all right.
That was nice.
But around that.
But we said 14 was going to be a year.
We did.
Wasn't.
So around 2002 and 2013, haven't really done much.
2006.
2006?
Yeah.
Still, that's only 1 more year.
Got flogged by the Broncos in the last game.
Besides those 3 years, it's been rough. It's been very rough. But we keep turning up, Nagy. Why do we keep turning up? As a Knights fan, why do you think it is that we keep turning up for this team?
I'm not really sure, Liam. I think we're having a bit. Anything else in your
This
segment?
question's really got us very deep into an existential crisis.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you, Daniel.
Thank you,
You've really
Daniel
caused us to.
squared.
You've really caught Daniel cubed. Actually, you've really caused us to plumb deep in the depths of our souls and come out finding the black tar of our discontent.
You can say, like, why do we even do a podcast about this? And we realise we shouldn't stand up and then leave. What else we got in the segment?
Well, there is another question, even though we just went so depressed. Daniel Kelly, another Daniel, thank you. Why don't we have any wingers? Now, I think I can answer that, Daniel, because a lot of money has been spent on utilities. Now, we've got 3 or 4 utilities who can play in the middle of the field in Slade Griffin, Connor Watson, Kurt Mann, Jamie Buhrer. We're spending a lot of money on utility players who are, mostly hookers, but mainly utilities.
We've got a lot of team
We got a lot of hookers.
We decided to go for one player on the park that can really only play one position, which is hooker. Because you never really see a hooker who also plays wing. They only ever play hooker.
Kurt Mann.
Yeah, that's true. But
it hasn't really worked out for him in either position, has it?
He's not even really... He started off as like a very vanilla player, and now he's almost like unflavoured.
He's very unflavoured at the moment.
Yeah.
He's free of flavour. But I think we don't have any wingers because Brownie's recruitment strategy is centred a lot around...
Look, we should have Edric. We should have Edric and SKD. And we lost Ross at the beginning of the season, and he would have been our backup winger. Heimel Hunt was signed as a winger, ended up being quite a good centre. So then we got him at centre, and then we got Moga coming back in, so that pushes Hunt back out to the... no, he's not playing wing. I don't know. We got
the other one's Stafford Toa in the Canterbury Cup, but he's out injured at the moment.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a wonderkin, so he'll be coming through the ranks shortly, but he's out injured at the moment. But yeah, Daniel, it's an interesting question and one I hadn't really thought about too much.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's an area where Nathan Brown will want to recruit. He'll want to get a bit more wing depth, I would imagine. But yeah, we don't really seem to have too many at the moment, which is interesting.
We might need a couple more. Big question coming from...
Big question.
Is that from another Daniel?
This one's from Billy. Billy Bennett. Billy Daniel Bennett. Billy asks, Ponga is good, but is he $6 million over 4 years good? Now, just a bit of background for this. Obviously, there's a bit of talk going around, a bit of scuttlebutt that Kalen Ponga is looking for a new deal, and his new deal is going to be $6 million over 4 years, breaking that down to $1.5 million per year.
Yep.
Is he worth that much?
Can I answer this question?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely. Throw everything we have at him.
It's only because you've got Tommy Turbo. So a player that you could probably look at and think, all right, there's another player full of excitement, bigger than Ponga, maybe running game stronger than Ponga. You can compare him, similar age, same position. He's coming up for contract review, and with his brother, that's what the money they're talking as well. Agents aren't stupid. They don't throw out offers that they can't actually be answered by a club in the NRL, whether it's the club that they're with now. The Knights have been preparing for this moment, knowing that they're going to have to offer Kalen Ponga quite a bit more than what they're paying him to keep him. If we do offer him and he becomes the highest paid player in the comp, we've got them for 4 years. He's not walking out of that contract. That's just what players will be worth. You look at all the players that are worth over $1 million. Mitchell Pearce is on that list. Ben Hunt's worth nearly $1.2 million a season. Is Ponga worth more than Hunt?
Absolutely.
So how much more? You got to look at these comparatively. Daly Cherry Evans has some great things, but he's also on that list of $1 million a season. Jason Taumalolo, how much is Ponga worth to the club? I say he's worth $1.5 million a season.
Nagy, I agree with you. I think he's worth $1.5 million a season if we can hang on to him. My only concern is that he hasn't proven himself to be a match winner yet. He's done plenty of good things and he's impressed in a lot of matches.
This is a bit interesting.
But
Sorry, could you say he hasn't been a match winner?
He hasn't been a match winner yet.
Okay.
You know, he's not been the one to pull us out of the fire when we're, say...
You're saying when the game's on the line...
When the game's on the line,
yeah,
and we need something to happen, he needs maybe a field goal or something like that. He hasn't proven to be a match winner yet. He's done a lot of great things. He's done a lot to get us ahead in games, but he hasn't closed out games, which I know isn't his role at fullback, but you tend to find with players who are on that kind of money, they will do things that will win you games, and we haven't really seen that from Ponga yet.
My one concern around Ponga moving into like an older age player is that he, a knee reco later, maybe he doesn't have that same pizzazz that he has now, that same quick movement. Like if you look at someone like Sean Johnson or someone that is really good on his feet, and then he just gets a bit older. Benji's another example, and he just gets a bit old and stiff, and you see moments of that, but you never see that same consistency. I don't know, maybe like later in life, but he also has a great passing game.
He's got a beautiful passing game. Beautiful passing game.
And he's great at golf as well. He plays off 9 or something like that. I don't know. So
New Zealand under-13s golf champion, in fact, he was.
So he's just one of those guys.
So I say
keep
yes.
him around. Look,
throw everything you can at him. Keep him around. We need him at our club.
Whatever contract that we offer him is only keeping him in, means that he won't play for another NRL team. Outside of that, rugby union can come and knock on the door at any time, and you get a Sonny Bill Williams job, and then he just walks. And that's the game that we play, unfortunately.
And that's the sack, unfortunately. But
better close it up before the tears start flying.
Better close it up.
How was the other grades going?
The lower grades, they both had a bye last week, so no bad news. But they'll be at home next week. They'll be away next week, all playing at Bankwest Stadium. Canterbury Cup and Jersey Flegg both playing against the Wentworthville Magpies. Of course, that's before the main game with the Knights taking on Parramatta at 5:30. Obviously, we won't be playing at home, so you can enjoy it at your house with a beautiful Murray's 262. What better way to enjoy the football than with a beautiful couple of cans of Murray's 262?
There'll be a couple of cans. Probably just get a six-pack for yourself.
Get a six-pack.
Because you start to drink it, enjoy it, and then by the end of the game, you'll need all 6.
It's a very enjoyable beverage.
It is very enjoyable beverage. Thank you very much for Murray's. Thank you very much for joining me, Liam. I always miss this when I have a week off. And then I come back and remember that we're talking about the team that we support, and then I want to miss it again. Thank you very much for joining us this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the Joust, please like us on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Instagram, and Twitter. All those social pipes.
Every pipe.
I think I hit every one of them.
You nailed it.
Did I forget anything else?
Well.
Are we on anything else lately?
No, that's it. That's all.
Tumblr?
Does anyone use Tumblr anymore?
I don't know. Maybe we're on there. Thank you very much, Justice. We'll see you next week. Please head down to the Commonwealth Hotel as well if you're going to watch the game somewhere other than your house. It's been an absolute pleasure.